Hello again, I am Blunty, and I don't normally spend a lot of time and effort making guesses, predictions, extrapolations and conjecture about games when they're just in their teaser stage of marketing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy that stuff from others quite a lot, a channel I've been subbed to for quite some time now, Rage Gaming Videos, who I'm guessing a lot of Monster Hunter fans will at least be already aware of, makes quite a habit out of taking any new tiny scrap of information and pulling it out into several minutes of wild guessing verging on prayer for wish fulfillment. It's pretty fun to see what other passionate players are wishing for and hoping for, or perhaps even dreading. But between my unusually strong enthusiasm for Monster Hunter Rise, the steadily increasing anticipation of the big new expansion Sunbreak, and the thought I had while looking at the official Twitter accounts as we lead into the next big livestream reveal event, which promises a whole new stack of official reveals and news, a fun thought occurred as I put a couple of puzzle pieces together. I think investigations might be coming back to Monster Hunter, and I think that will excite a lot of the player base, especially those who really enjoyed the extra layer of immersion that they offered alongside the spice of variety. Now, for those of you who didn't play Monster Hunter World, real quick, investigations are a kind of semi-randomly generated subquests and hunt. As you play normally in Monster Hunter World, you'll come across tracks, scent marks, and dropped materials, even mucus smeared on trees and stuff, and similar signs that a monster has been through the area recently. As you follow the trail, you'll see more and collect more samples, and as more hunts progress and you do this more, you'll collect investigation points for use as kind of a currency in-game for certain things, and eventually you collect enough clues to unlock new monsters, new hunts and quests. It's also part of unlocking extra detailed information about a monster you already know about, its weaknesses for example. And this kind of hunting behaviour is a level of immersion I've heard quite a few players, particularly those who came on board with Monster Hunter World, say they feel is quite sorely missing from Rise. And I agree with them. The investigation quests unlocked are semi-randomized, so just at that level they're fun for the sake of mixing things up and preventing players from just grinding the same couple of hunts over and over again. You can unlock hunting investigations to track and kill one or several monsters, slaying investigations which focus on groups of the smaller monsters, and capture investigations which, well, you get the idea. And to encourage players to engage with these quests more readily, they usually have better rewards, either in volume or rarity, and are a nice way to grind for hunter rank too, thanks to the continual variety, decent rewards, and fun versus just grinding the couple of mathematically optimal endgame hunts over and over for hunter rank. But why do I suspect we'll be getting them with Sunbreak? Well, it's a 1-2 punch of teasers. First came the image here, posted by the official accounts a few days back, teasing the incoming livestream reveals, and when I first saw it, it looked just like track investigation in World. The hunter leans down over a footprint for a few seconds, takes a good hard look, and a sample to turn into the nerds back at base for study. And monster footprints and this hunter action at all are utterly missing from Rise, and every previous Monster Hunter game except for World for that matter, so it did stand out to me as unusual to see teasing a Rise event. But I wrote it off as nothing to think about much, it's just a piece of flavour art or whatever, until when I saw the official Japanese account post a little video. Nothing spectacular or too exciting, just a short walk through the docks area we've not yet had a good look at as it heads into the main courtyard of the town where we see the quest givers we've already been learning about in other teasers. But when I translated the tweet, or rather I asked Twitter to automatically translate it because I don't read Japanese, well, first I giggled slightly at the translation claiming facilities necessary for hunting hunters, which, because English grammar is a bit wibbly at times, that could mean facilities for hunters going out on active hunts, or it could mean hunters hunting other hunters. But yeah, it's probably the first one. But finally comes the mention of facilities for investigating monsters. There's that word. Another automated translation is conducting surveys. Now, I don't know what word or nomenclature the original Japanese used for what we know as investigations in the English-speaking world, in Monster Hunter World. If you are a bilingual viewer, please feel free to jump in here with a more nuanced and human brain translation. But both the words survey and investigation, especially when combined with the aforementioned image, to me are wording that strongly suggests we may be getting some version or variation of World's style track collecting and its linked semi-random generated hunts with Sunbreak. And I am 100% on board with that. I love that idea. Now, already the vast majority of my hunting time in Rise right now is done via random multiplayer matchups, a multiplayer system that I find vastly superior to the annoyingly awkward and rather limited way World did it with its SOS system, and it's worked wonderfully for helping stop the now thousands of hunts that I've been on feel too repetitive. Now, when you first reach endgame in Rise, generally the most efficient way to farm for charms was to do the Nawa hunt over and over because of the value of its drops. And it's a fun hunt, sure, but sooner or later the grind does make you want to cheese it with the old piercing bowgun, which is less fun. But as I'm not grinding for specific materials or anything else right now, the random matchups have been fantastic. See, I've been working on learning every single weapon on offer, building at least one optimal armor and deco set for each one, and taking each and every one to 100 hunts, which I've just achieved a few days ago. Quite a fun self-imposed quest. Point is, random matchups helped keep it interesting, never knowing what hunt I was being dropped into next. And investigations are a good tool for that kind of thing too, in a slightly different way. But alongside the variety generated quests can bring, there's also a lot to be said for the method of generating them in the first place. The extra layer of immersion offered by a hunter having to physically track and collect samples in the field from footprints, drop scales, feathers, scent marks, mucus, in order to increase their knowledge of a monster or reveal a new monster on the map at all is something I did miss from World. It's a small detail, it's not even as sophisticated enough to be called a minigame even, but I really liked it. There's a lot of stuff I think Rise does a lot better than World did, and between the two I do have an overall preference for Rise. But there's no denying that the lack of this kind of hunter behavior, this immersion, and instead we have things like the Kahoot just instantly revealing the exact location of every monster on a map as soon as we arrive, are rather less immersive and less fun, frankly, than how World did it. That said, I also hated the scout flies in World. Oh my god, they're a pain in the ass, and how much of a pain in the ass certain maps in World were just to navigate around. Looking at you, Jungle. So a combination of the immersive hunter behaviors we got with World and the investigation mechanics that came with it, combined with everything else I love about how Rise does things, well, sign me up as enthusiastic, sir. I sure do hope I'm right. Of course, in a couple of days when the live stream happens, I guess we'll find out. And some of you will rush back to this video and go either, bloody, you called it, dude, you're a genius, you totally called it, that is exactly what they're doing. Or possibly you'll rush back to the video to go, oh, Blunty, don't you feel stupid? How could you get those clues so wrong? You were so very wrong. Don't you feel like a clown? I guess we'll see which one happens. Meanwhile, thanks for watching. I am Blunty. And thanks as always to the patrons. Catch you next time.